How do we handle the big moral debates? One of the big moral debates of Jesus' day had to do with divorce. It was actually the debate that got John the Baptist killed. The problem was there was a tension. The scripture says God hates divorce, but scripture also contained rules for how people might get divorced if it came to it. Jesus went so far as to say that someone who gets divorced and remarries is actively committing adultery. And yet God's law said that divorce and remarriage was legal. God hates it and it's sinful, and God made it legal. Could that be right? When pressed about the issue once, Jesus said, "It is because of the hardness of your hearts that God provided the laws on divorce and remarriage." In other words, yeah, it's a sinful, hot mess. But if God hadn't made provisions for legal settlement of that mess, we humans, in our meanness, would have turned it into something even more destructive. God balanced our mean-spiritedness against our poor ability to adhere to an ideal. He legalized something that was far less than ideal in order to prevent us from doing something that was even worse. Today, the big moral debate has to do with homosexuality and marriage, and there's a big tension in that for people. On the one hand, you don't want to be mean to homosexuals who just want to feel accepted. On the other hand, you don't want to sacrifice ideals about sexuality or the sacredness of clear scriptural values that suggest that homosexuality is unhealthy for people. The problem is, in not wanting to be mean, some people are willing to just throw away ideals and misrepresent scripture. Other people, in trying to honor truth, end up acting mean. It's another hot mess. So what are we going to do? We need to take a brave look at the issue, one that's neither mean nor dishonest, one that's loving and truthful. More often than not, the thing that lets us embrace both truth and love together is the ability to let things be less than ideal, to rely on God's drastic generosity, His grace. When we get trapped in a terrible tension, God can solve it with grace. Now, what does that look like when it comes to these debates on homosexuality and marriage today? Well, let's figure that out.